Now, before we go to the book, I just have to brag on you a little bit, because you're no stranger to the White House.
Oh.
Oh. Now,
Yeah.
seriously, when you got the invitation, I know you said, I think you've got the wrong Stanley.
I did.
Did you really
I've
think
said that throughout my whole life. I've actually shown up at places and they got the wrong guy, literally. They looked at me and I could tell by the look in their eye, you thought my dad was coming, seriously. So when I was invited to participate in the National Prayer Service, I told my assistant Diane, I think once again they've confused me for my dad. And as it turned out, they had actually invited me, and what an honor that was.
How was that?
Oh, it was amazing. And I'd never been to the National Cathedral, which I'm kind of ashamed to say, but in my trips to Washington, D.C., I'd just never seen the cathedral. So, it was pretty amazing. And the best part for me, and I wish every American or Canadian within your own context could experience this. During the National Prayer Service, I was facing the front row, and there on the front row was President Clinton and his wife, the Bidens, the Obamas, Nancy Pelosi, all these people that we only see on television and get little sound bites. And for an hour and 40 minutes, they were about 30 steps away from me. We were facing each other during this service, and it made them very human. And my little part took about 45 seconds. So for the rest of the time, I could just sit there and pretend not to be staring at, the most powerful people in our country and some of the most powerful people in the world. And I found myself just praying. I thought, God, they get dressed in the morning just like I do, but they literally carry the weight of the world on their shoulders. And so regardless of political affiliation, they became very human. And I have found it much easier to pray for them in a way that probably our national leaders need prayer. But it was an amazing opportunity.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations. So thrilled that you were there. You have a master's in theology from Dallas Theological Seminary, which is absolutely wonderful.
I think so.
And Andy, I'm going to say, this is a very theological sounding book, The Grace of God. Might not grab a felt need going by on horseback.
Right.
And I hope that doesn't sound like a criticism.
No.
But what a wonderful discovery. I have a friend who's becoming a Christian and just starting to read the Bible. I want her to read this book as an overview of what God was doing.
From the very beginning.
From the very beginning.
Yep.
Because we put on a new set of glasses as we go to very familiar Bible characters and Bible stories, and they're grace glasses.
Yep.
And I saw things, I've been to 2 Bible schools, I saw things, connected dots, well, you did the connecting for me, that were just wonderful aha moments. And I think this is really important because it's the Old Testament and the New Testament. And one of the issues, as you well know, with the goodbye generation is they don't see a God of grace in the Old Testament.
Right.
They don't even find grace till they get to Jesus in
Yep.
the New. Was that ever a struggle for you?
I think that's a struggle for most Christians and for most people who begin reading the Bible. And so at the very outset of this book, stepping back, what I wanted to do with the grace of God was to tell the story of grace, because grace is primarily understood within a relational context. It's not simply a theological category. It's talked about as a theological category, but grace isn't grace until you've experienced grace. And then there's oh, so that's grace, whether it's the grace we receive from a parent, from a friend, from someone we work with, or directly the grace of God. So I wanted people to look at the Bible as a story of God's grace. And so instead of writing a theological book, I wrote a book where we connected, as you said, the stories, the familiar stories of the Old Testament and the New Testament to say, this has been the theme and this has been God's agenda from the very beginning. And the perceived conflict between Old Testament and New Testament, the Old Testament God who's the angry God, the New Testament God who sent us Jesus, there is no conflict. It's the same God. And grace has been there from the very beginning.
You make a statement, and I just have to ask this, about grace perhaps being the most challenging when we have to offer it up.
Yep.
I think many people are aware, and your dad talked openly about your parents' divorce, a present painful reality for the family. Were you thinking of that chapter in your own life when you wrote that?
When I wrote this book, this was so many years past that. I don't think that drove the conversation. But in the book, I make this statement that I love this statement. I think grace really is the solution for just about everything. I do. I don't think you can think of an international crisis, a personal crisis, a family crisis, where at the end of the day, grace isn't the solution. It is the solution for just about everything. If two people, in fact, in some cases, if just one person will extend grace, the healing begins. So anytime there's family conflict, anytime a family is split by the pain of divorce, the solution ultimately is grace. Somebody has to make the first move to say, I'm going to extend to you what I'm not sure you deserve. And once a person takes that step, healing begins. And I know for my father, and for me, for our entire family, grace has been the solution, and grace has been the glue, and grace has been the oil in the machinery that allows the family and allows the relationships to continue.
To move forward.
Yep.
Well, we are going to move forward for the whole month. I'm going to quote you again. God's grace is greater than we could ever fully know or completely understand. When correctly applied, it seems to solve just about everything. That's why we are going to have a daily eye-opener with Pastor Andy Stanley for the whole month of August. It's also why we're so thankful to be able to offer you the book, The Grace of God. Here's information on how to get your copy.
The dilemma of Christianity, the dilemma of all religion, is what do I do about me, and what do I do about my past, and what do I do about my failure, and what do I do about my sin? What if we really have fallen short? What if you're condemned before God? What if you don't measure up and you're going to be held accountable? Then do you want what's fair? Then do you want what's just? I want exactly and precisely what I deserve the least.
The Grace of God by author and pastor Andy Stanley is our thanks to you for your ministry support. To receive your copy, call 1-800-265-3100 with your best ministry gift. You can write to Crossroads in Canada or the United States, or make a secure online donation at crossroads.ca.